rolling.
Welcome to the BRZN F1 Podcast. We're finally here.
Yeah, first ever episode.
Yeah.
A lot of talking in the making.
There was a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of hype on social media. Our overhead is up here.
Yeah, better not disappoint.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we definitely need to start producing some results here. I'm Liam, your co-host, and
Andrew, how's it going?
Andrew. Yeah, so we're the BRZN F1 Podcast. The word BRZN came from one of our other cousins.
Yes,
it just means brother cousin.
Brother cousin.
Yeah.
It kind of stuck. It fit at the time. I'm sure we were a few drinks deep at the time whenever we came up with the idea.
Yep.
But no, we're very close family. So, we're cousins, we're best friends. We're really close. So it's good that we can, do this on the side, see each other on the side. Just the whole point of this podcast was because we got into F1 a few years ago, like really intensely. We got really, really into watching it.
Yes.
And we caught ourselves just watching the race, watching qualifying at separate houses, and then we would call each other like right away.
Yeah.
And just talk about it. So I'm like, if we're going to just do that naturally as it is,
yes,
why not throw some equipment in front of our face?
And we could just talk. I could literally just come over and talk. But it's way more fun to do a podcast.
Yeah, put a little effort into it.
And the thing is too, is with this podcast, like, we're not analytics for F1. We're not journalists.
Nope.
We're just fans giving you content for other fans. That's it. We're not here. I'm not here to say that I'm an F1 expert, because I'm not. And I don't think a lot of people are, realistically. How many people have driven an F1 car in their lives?
I'm going to say not many.
Exactly. So or you've worked on a Formula One team.
Yeah.
So we're not here to be experts on it and going to give you like the downforce effect and all this stuff. We're not going to give you numbers. We're just here to talk F1, just entertain some people. That's it.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to try and do is have almost like a reactionary podcast, like to each race.
Yes.
Like we're not going to put out content from qualifying, but we'll touch on it maybe during the Sunday recording, then whenever we do it.
Yep.
So I think the plan is, or the setup is, whenever we have a race taking place on a Sunday, we'll record soon afterwards.
Yep.
Piece it together, release it maybe Sunday night, early Monday morning for your listening and viewing pleasure.
Yes.
What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah, you spoke of like working on an F1 team.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, I was like, what jobs are for an F1 team? Like, I think it was, I forget which team it was. It might have been
Haas.
It might have been, Haas really would need
They're
some
like,
backup.
we need some people right now.
we need help. I forget which team it was. There was some team like put out a post basically saying like, we're hiring.
Yeah,
like,
we can't pay you. You need to pay for yourself, but we just need help.
So I went online to the application. I'm like, okay, like what jobs are? I'm like, I'll go in the pit crew. I'll go change a tire or something.
Yeah.
So I look on it and it's like requirements like astrophysics engineering.
Oh, it's insane.
Even
being a
space
mechanic,
exploration, like you have to be an astronaut to like work for an F1 team, basically, just because of all like the details that go into everything, right?
Oh, it's insane.
It's like things that I never even thought of, like obviously like you said, analytics and like all the numbers and testing like goes into so much of the like how an F1 team runs.
You could go into so much depth. I think there's every aspect of engineering.
Yes.
That goes into it. There's electrical, there's your mechanical, there's your automotive, maybe in civil. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Maybe, I don't know. Like I'll be the one of the guys that like tears down like
it's
the
a huge physics
sport.
bus.
Like I'll do that. Like I don't care. Just give me a ball. Give me a pass that says I work.
I bet you need to have an engineering degree to put a tire on the car.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
Like, I'll be that guy.
Yeah, you need an engineering degree to learn how the drill works.
Ugh,
crazy. But anyway, we're gonna get into some talk about deliveries.
Yes.
And we're just kind of gonna go by team. We'll talk about the teams, our predictions for the 2022 season. We're gonna start it off we'll start it off with the world champion Max Verstappen and Team Red Bull.
Yeah, the new livery. We're just taking a look at it right now.
It hasn't really changed much.
It hasn't.
I don't think.
And I think
they were the least. Me being a Red Bull fan, they were the least like team that stepped out to kind of go out of their way and change it. You know what I mean?
I think in their case, it's like don't change what isn't broken.
That's true.
Because they have one of the best liveries, I think, going right now.
It's a staple.
It is.
It is.
Like when you're associated with a product and a brand like Red Bull already is,
yes,
you can't differentiate too far from the brand. Like you can't step out with like a pink livery when your Red Bull is like sponsored by Red Bull.
Well, when they did the white in Japan, that was pretty sweet.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah,
that was
I like that. I'm all for that.
It was like almost like a contrast effect. Like,
yeah, it looked like a Zero from World War II airplane.
Yeah.
Like a Japanese Zero.
Yeah, then that's just like paying homage to obviously Honda.
Yep, huge.
Being their powertrain supplier for the last couple of seasons.
And they won that race too.
Yes, they did.
Which is awesome. Winning their home race for their home supplier.
So with the Red Bull car, yeah, not much different from their 2022 livery, or sorry, 2021 livery. And as far as the actual Red Bull team going, like we said, this is their first year without Honda powertrain.
Yeah, Red Bull powertrains.
Red Bull's creating their own power unit. I believe that they're still taking some people from Honda and like having them help them like develop as we go along.
Yes.
But one of the new regulations that came into play for this season, we'll touch on regulations too, like as we talk about the podcast a little bit, because there were so many changes, obviously, with like, putting the financial cap on the spendings for this season.
Yep.
Different tire wear and different tire like
zero
choices.
Engine development throughout the season.
So that's what I was gonna say. So with Red Bull and with all other teams now, you kind of have to like limit your powertrain development. One, because of financial costs.
Yes.
And two, because in a couple of years, the goal is to go fully
carbon neutral,
sustainable power.
They want to be sustainable, right?
So I don't mind that, because I think the whole point is so that, teams like Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari don't go crazy with like spending.
Yes.
And they don't separate so far from the pack where there's a huge disconnect, because obviously the money talks.
100%. That's all F1 is. It's a money
Mercedes
sport.
And a team like Williams, very different on the scale.
For sure.
So with 2026 coming in having fully sustainable engines, they just want to stunt their growth from now until then, which kind of makes sense, because like, okay, you won't put money into it.
Nope.
You'll do what you can.
Yes.
Like obviously you're going to develop some stuff here and there, but as far as like money goes and just like development wise, you can't really do much. But I think that's going to make, I think that's part of like the new FIA regulation to just kind of make it a more even playing field. And I don't mind that.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere, actually, I think it was Planet F1. And they were talking about Porsche and Red Bull talking about engine development.
Oh, okay.
Which I know Porsche is big into like electrical engines and EVs and all that stuff, right? So if Formula One is actually trending that way to eventually have, electric car or electric engines, then that would be huge for Porsche to get their name in there, especially for the electric car division, right? And most car companies, what they're going to do is they're going to go off of Formula One. You know what I mean? Like your Mercedes AMG, those engines, a lot of it's based off of the Mercedes power unit for their cars.
Right.
So, I mean, if a lot of if all the Formula One cars are going to go EV, then I would expect a lot of other companies to just start developing a lot of electric vehicles.
And in the case with trying to become more electric, they do have the Formula E series.
They do, yes.
Which they're like glorified RC cars.
I know,
which is kind of hilarious. Like it's cool, obviously. Like the threat, obviously, of engine failure isn't there.
Yes.
It's more safe, I guess, and that's what the FIA is always trying to push, is safety. And do what they can to protect the drivers, which makes sense. No one can separate themselves from that take. Like I think that's all standardized. Like, okay, be as safe as possible. You're racing cars.
Well, yeah, you can't advertise
an hour.
We're gonna make the cars as fast and as dangerous as possible.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's not Mad Max out there.
Yes, exactly.
But with
maybe he is Mad Max.
Mad Max. Well, he used to be Mad Max.
He used to be Mad Max. Yeah.
He's matured a lot. So just coming full circle to Red Bull.
Yeah, exactly.
Verstappen coming off, being the 2021 champion.
Yes. Staying on the Verstappen topic. I don't want to talk really about what happened last season.
No.
Because it's done. Now we're moving into a new season, new cars. You know what I mean? Hopefully that last year doesn't keep playing into what happened this year. Or sorry, hopefully last year doesn't keep playing into this. You know what I mean? Like going into like, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen. Is it going to be a rivalry between the two? No, I want to see a rivalry between Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, and Mercedes. That'd be great. Imagine you had 4 teams battling for the world championship.
Well, that's how it used to be before everyone just got crazy with the spending.
With money, exactly.
Like you look at the, 10 years ago. You had such a more even playing field. You had the likes of Williams up there. McLaren was still up there.
I know.
Mercedes wasn't fully there yet. Like when Hamilton made his jump to Mercedes, that's kind of when they just skyrocketed.
Yes. Exactly.
But, your Red Bull is there. Ferrari still winning championships. Now it's like a 2-horse race.
Yeah,
and you can mix in, like Danny Rick winning last year was a huge surprise.
And Monza was massive. That was big. But you know what, though? The McLaren, they were fast that entire race.
No, they were. And I remember
their qualifying was like within 0.2.
Right.
Or actually 0.02.
Yeah.
Of the top 3.
Yeah, Danny Rick was, I think he qualified P2 behind Max. And then he passed him in the initial straight.
Yep.
Going into the turn. And he never looked back from there. And I remember seeing an interview afterwards, I believe with Zach Brown, the principal for McLaren, and he said, the question was proposed to him, did you win because Max and Hamilton obviously took each other out of the race? And he just said, no, this is on us. Like, we won because we had the best card of the weekend.
They had and you know what though, caring for Monza going into they were on a 3-race tier, and then obviously Lando in Russia. That was
we don't talk about that.
That was awful.
Poor guy.
But I don't think he ever recovered from that.
I mean, we'll see this season.
I hope so. Honest, I'm pulling for Lando this year.
Yeah.
I will. If I had to pick a favorite driver this year, 100% Lando Norris.
And he kind of just came into it as a rookie with a lot of hype. He didn't win He didn't win F2. I believe it was George Russell came off the win actually from F2. And he went to Williams, and Norris jumped to McLaren, which I always found interesting because I feel like if you're a team like McLaren, like, wouldn't you want the best driver? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you...
Oh, for sure. Coming up, even your history.
Right.
Like Ayrton Senna, James Hunt. You know what I mean? Elaine Prost. You had all of these drivers with the history of McLaren. And then I feel like it, through the mid 2000s, it just kind of died down.
A little bit, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they changed to the Papayas, which is whatever. I love that. I love the Papaya. But then there was just never really talk of McLaren. They weren't even a middle of the pack team.
I know. And
for a while.
I mean, you have to think too, how your loyalty kind of lies as well, because now that I think about it, with George Russell,
yes,
going from F2, winning that championship, and then getting a job with Williams was the gateway for him to go to Mercedes. So I think he was a Mercedes youth driver, leading up to him debuting in F2.
Yep.
And it was the writing was just kind of on the walls. He was already talking to Toto. He was already, I think, for sure, managed by him or his agent, whatever it is.
Well, Williams was heavily using Mercedes.
Yeah, for years,
right?
for years and years. So I think, like I said, I think with Russell going there, it was kind of okay, we're gonna put him here, let him race a couple seasons, get some experience under his belt, and then we know he's gonna jump to Mercedes.
Yes.
So I guess that makes more sense than putting him into a car like McLaren. And I mean, in McLaren's case, you have Lando Norris.
You do. Yeah.
Who is nobody to slouch at right now.
No. Yeah, he just he signed a new contract.
Yeah, lock him up for a couple more seasons.
It's huge, yeah.
Or a couple more years.
Yeah. So they obviously have faith in him.
Yeah.
Which is big. And I mean, him coming in, he was so young. You had Sainz and was it Fernando Alonso that were racing for McLaren at the time?
Yeah.
And then Sainz he came from Renault.
Yeah.
Right? So Sainz was at McLaren with Fernando Alonso.
Lando and Sainz had one season together at McLaren,
and then he went to
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Then he jumped to Ferrari. Yeah. As far as the McLaren livery goes, a little bit change from last season.
Yeah, I love it though. I think the orange is a little more it's popping more.
Yeah,
and the light blue's good. I loved their Monaco livery last year.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
so nice.
I guess that's another homage, paying homage to a previous liveries of the cars of the past. I think it was a 70s model. Maybe. I think that's what it was.
Was it?
I think so. It was it was you can just look up McLaren, Monaco livery or something. I think back in the day their colors used to be like white and whatever, white and red or something.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was because it was at Monaco. I think Monaco last year had a significance as well. Maybe this an anniversary race or something.
Okay.
So I think they just kind of did that for Monaco just as a little celebration kind of thing.
Yeah. I loved it though. I'm all for that livery. It's beautiful.
And that's the thing too with liveries. You can just come and go as you please, basically, because it's just an adhesive that just peels off the car. It's not you're not painting every single time.
No.
You're not.
Well, I mean, if you can change your liveries for specific races, like Alpine for Abu Dhabi and Bahrain, they got that bubblegum color.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's that easy to do, I think teams should do it more. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I know you need to have one staple livery though. That's the one thing.
Yeah, again, because that's who you're associated with, like with branding and who you are.
Yeah, but no, I have big expectations for McLaren this year. I think they're going to be a really solid team, and based off the preseason testing that just finished, they're looking pretty good. But you still can't tell the pecking order what's going to happen next year.
No,
there's a lot of teams that are struggling. Alfa Romeo was like the least laps under Haas. So, I mean, they have big expectations too with Valtteri and the new driver.
What's his name?
Ingu Zuhu or something like that. Zuhu.
I know it's a tough name.
It's hard to pronounce.
Let's see what his name is real quick.
It's Nigu Zhu. Nigu.
Guan Yu Zhu.
Yeah. Guan Yu Zhu. Yeah.
Zhu. We'll get used to it.
Yeah, we will. And also, they haven't even released their livery, so we don't really have much to talk. I would like them actually to keep that like digital camo color.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty sweet. I know you can't see their sponsors and stuff that well, but I think that's a pretty cool livery if they keep it just like that.
And it's funny too. Like, leave it to Alfa Romeo to be like the flashy, like Italiano, like
exactly.
Like we like to have style.
We're coming.
Hype it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
With McLaren talk, I think having two drivers like Lando and Ricciardo,
yes,
they balance each other very, very well. Mm-hmm. Like with Ricciardo being like obviously more veteran now and seasoned, and then Lando being the up and coming guy. Mm-hmm. But now, since Lando's going into his fourth year,
he's not really new anymore.
He's not the new guy.
None of these guys really are,
and I kind of like that.
Yeah, you got Leclerc, Lando, Russell, and Albon, or Albon,
Alex Albon, yeah,
Albon. They came into the sport pretty well at the same time, which was around 4 years ago. Even Pierre Gasly too. Yep. I mean, Leclerc was racing for Sauber in 2017. I don't think Russell was in a Williams yet, or no, he was with Stroll.
Was that 17 or
was it 17 or 18?
No, I think Russell came in 18 with Robert Kubica with Williams.
Yeah.
That's 18. See, I'm getting all the years mixed up. Like it's been a lot of content with F1 the last couple of seasons.
For sure.
A lot of consumption, a lot of
people moving around.
Yeah.
But yeah, the general consensus is like Lando, Charles Leclerc. They say Charles on the like Formula One announcer.
Yeah.
But he on the like Drive to Survive, he talks. He's like, "I'm Charles Leclerc."
Yeah, I know. Like
this is my name, Charles.
I am Charles.
I'm Charles. But yeah, all these young guys, they're not like rookies anymore.
No.
They're signing big deals with these high expectation teams,
and a lot of them are all warranted because the way you have to look at with Formula One is that it's not based on the driver; it's based on like the whole team as a whole.
Yeah,
like you could stick, we're not gonna talk about driver rankings, but you can stick whoever you think the worst driver is in a Mercedes, and you'll probably do very, very well.
Exactly, I know, and that's what they're trying to stop this year.
Right.
They don't want teams to get ahead. Do you really want to see Mercedes lap Haas twice in a race? I don't really want to see that. I don't want to see a blowout.
No, I don't either.
I think that's just bad for growing the sport. So hopefully this year it changes. But even speaking of Mercedes, that's a thing on its own with George Russell and Hamilton, two Brits.
Yeah. This is kind of like the all-star lineup for Mercedes. This is like a total Wolf wet dream.
Yeah.
With Hamilton coming.
George.
With Hamilton coming.
No,
back.
George. No.
Hamilton leaving it last minute to announce his like return. A week before testing began, he basically said, "Okay, I'm back now officially."
Yep.
He said he's hungrier than ever.
Even though it wasn't really a retirement, it was just like a halt from social media.
Yeah, which I can't blame the guy. And I know we're not going to talk much about what happened in the last season, but we'll talk a little bit about what happened in last season just real quick because he did get
shafted for
devastating result.
He definitely got shafted, 100%. And me as a Red Bull, I totally agree with that, 100%. Yeah. But I think even if it was to go the other way, what if it did finish on a yellow flag? What would most majority of the fans be saying? Are you kidding me? Yeah. That's how you're going to end this season?
Yeah.
And I was listening to WTF1 podcast, and they were saying that around Monza, the teams actually, like, it wasn't recorded or anything, but they agreed they want to end the season. They want it to end on a green flag. Like, it would be a horrible, tragic season to end on a yellow flag. So it actually came down to it. So,
and it cost Michael Massey
his job, yeah. Which, I mean, the FIA had to do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would look even worse if they didn't kind of switch around, you know, the directors and how they're going to have 2 directors. So they're going to have one alternate each race. I don't know how I feel about that.
Because
now you don't know about consistency. And you want consistency regardless, right? That's all the drivers want.
Yeah.
Why would the drivers want to race when they, you know, you could have a guy that's 100% like biased towards Mercedes or Red Bull, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then at that race, it could be a crucial race. And you have that guy that's the race director. You're like, oh, great. You know what I mean? This guy's biased Mercedes, biased Red Bull.
It's like refereeing in soccer.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
And, yeah, exactly.
And now, like, with the new implementation of VAR in soccer, last couple of seasons.
That's in Formula 1 now.
And Formula 1 having talks of having VAR coming in there, too, for, like, a video assistant referee or video review. Mm-hmm. It does open that door again for inconsistent results.
Yes.
Because
now you're relying on, like, other, like, a video reference, right?
And it's annoying because it depends also on just the referee or the official's discretion.
Yeah.
And however he's feeling that day. Like, if he's in a cranky ass mood, maybe he's gonna be a cranky ass director for that day.
Yeah.
You never know. And it's to live and die on one person's decision, like what they did last year with Massey, where he did kind of get shafted, like you said.
Yeah.
Because you're putting all the decision on one person.
Yeah. And that, I don't think anyone in their lives would want to make that decision.
No. And they have the stewards that are behind the scenes, like giving him direction as well. But at the end of the day, it's his call. He came on the radio and said, this is my call. We're going to race. Toto, I'm sorry, sit down, calm down.
Yes.
Like, here's your sucker, here's your bottle.
Yeah.
But and you're not gonna please everyone.
No.
Like, clearly Red Bull was like, yes, this is our chance.
100%.
This is exactly what we needed.
And at the end of the day, though, Max still had to overtake Lewis. It's not like Max was in first. And I know he was on the better tires. Lewis was on 40-lap-year-old hards. But even on the back straight,
it was close.
Lewis was side to side. So the advantage that the Mercedes had kind of overweighed it, but I know the grip and everything, Max turning in to turn 5 and or turn 4. I think it was turn 4. I've watched the video so many times.
I know. It's like favorited on
but yeah, like he still had to overtake. And I mean, you got to overtake a 7-time world champion.
Right.
I mean, you knew he was going to make a lunge. He has to. It's the final lap of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're tied at points. Like, you know what I mean?
And the only thing for Hamilton, too, is that if he did make a late lunge into like one of the last corners and he took Max out, Max would end up winning anyways, because even though they were tied on points, Max won more races in the season.
That's true. You're right.
So he had like, the upper hand anyway. So Lewis, other than taking Max out of the race, which would not help him at all, he did all he could on that back straight.
For sure.
And it just ended up being, again, you can't compare a better driver. It was better strategy.
Better strategy. Yeah. And like people were talking about, you can pit Lewis. So they should have pitted him on 2 of the safety cars. Well, they can't really pit him on the last safety car.
No.
Because then what if the race did end on the safety car?
Exactly.
Max would have had the lead, right?
And
I think he should have pitted during the virtual safety car. They should have done that. I mean, yeah, you're giving up track position, but you know that the car's like 25 kilometers faster. I understand what you're like. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, at least kind of give him a fighting chance. I mean, no one expected that Latifi was going to crash. You know what I mean? Shout out to Latifi, by the way.
Yeah, Canadian boy.
Yeah, Canadian boy. Yeah.
It was crazy too. I remember they had about 10 or 12 laps to go, and it was like how they do like the like mid race like talk to somebody. They talk to usually Horner, or they'll talk to like whoever. They'll talk to like one of the principals like mid race.
Yes.
They'll just get him on the phone.
Yep.
And they had Horner on with like 12 laps to go, and he basically said like, "We'll need a miracle."
Yeah,
for this to
and
happen.
There's your miracle.
And then like 5 laps later is when Latifi wrecks like on the last turn.
I know it was dramatic, but
stars aligned.
In conclusion for that, I think both drivers definitely deserve to win.
Yes.
Whether it was Lewis, whether it was Max, whichever one won, they deserve to win just based off the season. The season, that was an incredible season to watch, and I followed it through and through. I was every qualifying round, every race, even the practice rounds. I'd watch it on my break at work. I'd just do the recaps. The race in 30 on Formula 1 TV.
Oh, so clutch.
Unreal.
Just we'll touch on, the Mercedes livery
Russell thing.
Well, livery too.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I'm happy they're back to the silver arrows.
Yeah,
going back to the silver. I understand the reason why they did. They went with the black, obviously, with the BLM movement and Lewis, which I think was good.
Nice car though. It was still nice with the black.
Oh, I loved it. I didn't like how they had. I wanted the numbers to be. I couldn't see the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can recognize a driver by their helmets because you can't see their numbers. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's true. It's cool that they can like customize their helmet though, however they want.
It is pretty
sick. Like a goalie mask for hockey.
Yeah.
Like really similar.
Yeah, but I'm happy. I think the blue on the Mercedes is a little more lighter, like teal. Yeah, like a little more teal than it was prior.
Yeah, it's kind of like a throwback to like what they've done last couple years before.
Yep.
Last season, like you mentioned, and again, kind of the same with Red Bull. Mm-hmm. You don't want to differentiate too much. Like your branding with Mercedes is like silver, like white. Like even going back to like their actual like just domestic cars.
Yeah.
Silver is kind of like how they've always represented themselves. And then having like that little teal color, it is nice. Like they do fit well.
It does.
The silver and teal.
Yeah.
So yeah, not much different about that.
Nope. But even now we got Russell there. Russell and Hamilton. That's going to be a battle. You got a young driver coming up now. He's in the best car for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, now is my shot. This is my time. Sucks that he has to go against a 7-time world champion, but. I mean, do you think that he's really going to back down? I don't think he will.
No.
I think it's going to be a neck and neck race between him and Lewis, and he's not going to do Valtteri Bottas and just, suck under Toto's pressure and just say, no, back off, Lewis on the better strategy, whatever. Because at the end of the day, you are racing, and everyone wants to be the world champion. I don't care who you are. Like, what's the point of racing if you can't be a world champion?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everyone's fighting for one thing. And the constructors are fighting for one thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's going to be huge with George Russell. Yeah, with George and Lewis this year, it's going to be interesting.
In George's case too, like he was so like just chopping at the bit too because he's such a good driver.
Yeah,
like you've seen it. Like,
it's incredible.
What he
when he qualified, I know it was under soft pretenses, whatever. But when he qualified, he was P2 in Spa this year, which is huge. You know what I mean? His first podium with Williams, like you're a lower the pack team.
What he was able to do with the Williams car,
the
last couple of years,
is Mr. Saturday, the boy,
is insane. He outqualified. I don't have all the stats, but he outqualified his teammate. I think on every occasion.
Oh, absolutely.
There might be like one or two times when either Latifi or Kubica outqualified him the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Aside from the fact that he does kind of look like a ventriloquist dummy.
John Lennon.
He does look like John Lennon, yeah. But he's like, I think everything on that guy is like perfectly structured.
Yeah.
It's everything synchronous. Like if he looks one way, like,
synchronized.
Like this whole, like if you split him in half, like this is perfect with this one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, he's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's the poster child for what Mercedes wants, probably, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And you have, two. I'll consider George like world class. He's a world class driver. I mean, to be in the sport, you have to be world class.
I would say let's wait to see how he performs this year.
But look at what he did in Bahrain a couple years ago when they had
when he was racing for Mercedes.
Yeah, it was the first year of COVID that they came back, I believe.
Who was he racing for? Hamilton or Bottas?
Hamilton. So Hamilton already had the title locked up, and then he contacted COVID. So that's
right.
So George slid into the Mercedes car.
Yeah, that was Bahrain the last race of that season.
Yeah,
they flipped it, right?
They flipped it. They had two. I believe they had two.
So they canceled
races.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they rescheduled it from beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Which is normally race 2 at Bahrain. They put it in the last race.
Yeah.
And they changed the circuit, so they had two separate circuits.
Okay.
So they had the original, and then they opened up like one of like the back corner tracks, and they redirected traffic that way. So it was almost like it wasn't an oval, but the shape of it was like so you could almost basically go flat out the entire track.
Oh, that's unreal.
It was really
like a
cool.
NASCAR track.
It was really cool. I mean, some like the drivers said that they were loving it because they were just going flat out the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of opportunities to pass because like the straights are longer and the car was going quicker in the turns.
Yeah, but yeah, he was P2.
Yeah, he qualified P2.
Yeah,
and then just really tight behind Bottas, and then in the race he had it locked up the whole way. And then of course again strategy, anything can happen on race day, as we know.
That's so frustrating.
The tires are getting messed up. He had a flat or a puncture with like a couple laps to go, and he's basically in the lead. So unfortunate for him.
You've seen what he did for Mercedes then.
And that wasn't even his car. It was Hamilton's car. Yeah,
fitted for Hamilton,
exactly.
Everything. That's right.
Fitted for Hamilton. Yep. Like you can see just in this picture we're looking at, the height difference between him and Hamilton. So
this guy's knees are probably at his chin.
Yeah, so they had to do many adjustments like quickly to get him fitted for that car. Mm-hmm. He wasn't used to the controls. He had a different like person telling him like in his ear.
Did he have Bono? Was Bono his engineer?
Actually, I don't think they would have brought his engineer from Williams because I think that would be like a little sneaky.
Yeah. Imagine that guy just walking around the garage. And you're like, oh, yeah, hey, how's it going, guys?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, in his case, too, he did come from Williams, who obviously like struggled in the finances.
Yes.
But what he was able to still pull off was just nuts.
Oh.
And I mean, we were already talked about it at depth, at length. But no, and when it comes to the comparison of how Hamilton and Bottas were both managed the last couple of years, and how clearly there was a 1-2.
Yes, at Mercedes for sure.
At Mercedes, I think this year George won't back down.
No,
George is going to go like flat out as he always does, and really give Hamilton a run for his money. I mean, Hamilton's already got his head in the clouds with Verstappen.
He's got
a teammate to worry about.
He's got nothing to lose. Realistically, he's like, I'm racing for the best team. Why would I back down for a world championship? Now could be my only time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he signed for another how many years. This is just they haven't extended him. They haven't done anything. He's just on for the year.
He's on like the LeBron James contract where he just does like 1 year at a time and kind of picks and chooses where he wants to go.
Exactly.
You know
what? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to maybe not in this episode, but in a few episodes like leading up to the first race of the year, I definitely want to get into a discussion about like who we think, not just team wise, like who'll be the best this year, but who's going to have like the most rivalry like within the team. Because we have some new faces and new places.
I mean, I don't want to keep going back to the Russell Hamilton thing.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest one.
That's going to be top of the charts, I think.
And you know what I think too? Ferrari and Sainz. We haven't really talked about them yet. Ferrari with Sainz, I think he's been through enough teams in the last 3 years. And finally, like this year, Ferrari, they're praying and hoping that they have a competitive car. Not that they haven't had a competitive car, but they're not where Ferrari's expectations are. You know what I mean? Like they're expected to be world like constructors champions, right? And every year that they're not, it just you kind of like fall away from the whole Ferrari like I don't know. I can't even explain it. Like it's just there's a difference of Ferrari and Formula One. It's huge. It's so historic. The drivers have always been saying it's different to drive for Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ferrari is like the Yankees.
Exactly.
Like it's just a different vibe. It's got the most coveted history.
Yeah. Like I don't know how to. I can't explain it. Obviously, I've never raced for Ferrari.
Yeah.
But like, it's different racing for Ferrari because the expectations are so high. The history's there.
Yeah.
You know, Enzo Ferrari they would, if a driver like Alain Prost, and I think it was maybe 89 or 90. He took like when he didn't get re-signed for the season. Ferrari like they said, okay, you're done. You're going on sabbatical because you said something bad about the car. Now it's like if the teams critique their cars, that goes to like their aero department or their chassis or their engine, and it like not only like it boosts the morale, but at the same time it can make them work harder. The teams don't punish you for saying something bad about the car.
It's more constructive now.
Exactly.
If you just
not just like a one dictator thing, like you're done.
Yeah.
You know,
it's kind of like
there's heaviness that comes with driving for Ferrari for sure.
You have to depend. Like it depends on how you say it though too, and how you word it, because you could be like Bryson DeChambeau, talk about his driver, and how it's like he's like trashing the guys in the department in the R&D department, saying like
screw you then, buddy.
Like these guys give me a bad driver every year. That's why I can't.
Yeah.
Hit
or
the ball.
Cobra. Was it Cobra?
It was Cobra. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So he just puts them on blast like in the media. Yeah. And then they're just like, okay, we're not your sponsor anymore. Like, peace.
Yeah.
Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. But, so going back to it, Carlos Sainz, like, that guy, he's hungry, man. And so is Leclerc. I think Leclerc's he's going to have a pretty good season. I mean, he's been pretty wild on the track, especially last year with his qualifying in Monaco, hitting the barrier. I mean, he was P1 in, where was he P1 at this year?
It was Monaco, but then he didn't race.
Yes, that's right. Monaco. Yeah. That was his only pole in
Yeah.
qualifying. And then he was out front in Silverstone. I after the Lewis and Max thing, right? He was out front for majority of that race. I think it was on the last 2 laps that Lewis...
He caught him.
Yeah.
Another strategy gone wayward.
Yeah, but he was having like engine problems.
Yeah, he was.
Right? So, but I mean, that would have been great. Could you imagine they would have won at Silverstone? Leclerc.
Little slap in the face for
Hamilton,
for the Hamilton and Mercedes faithful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but no, that'll be a good battle.
So in comparison with the two of them, I mean, they were definitely two drivers who like butted it out, like butted heads last year a lot. Not in a bad way, but I'm just saying on the track, like they were like always fluctuating. They obviously did not turn out the podiums like they wanted to.
No,
I believe they each got a couple, but. Even on the track, they were finishing like P4, P5, P6, P7. Like, and you could look at every race.
Sainz was P3 in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, exactly.
No one talking about that. I mean, obviously, but I mean, still, like he was on how many podiums did he get last year? Twice, 2 or 3 times. He was on podium.
I want to say at least 2, could be 3.
Yeah. On podium at Monza.
And like the fall from grace of what Ferrari used to be dates back to a couple years ago, and like the last season that Vettel was there.
Yeah. When they had to take away from their power unit.
They got torched.
They did.
And you can say it's like some fault of their own for not being more progressive and not putting the money where they should maybe. Because, Ferrari, the passion of the fan base behind them.
Oh, it's huge.
It's nuts.
It's huge. It's bigger than any other one in Formula 1 for sure.
And obviously, like we said, when the big clubs or the big teams in any kind of sport are doing well, it's better for the sport. When the Leafs are good, NHL's better. When the New York Knicks are good, NBA's better. NFL, when the Cowboys are better, it makes the whole thing better. So that's kind of the same sense with Ferrari. Obviously, the Tifosi want to be like always there and like always jacked up and like they're always going to show up.
Yes.
But if you're not putting the results on the track, if you're not putting your best foot forward, and if you're not showing your supporters like we're here to actually compete, not just be like another club I keep saying club. Yeah. Another team.
Shout out Footy Fans.
Shout out Footy Fans podcast. If you're going to be the team who doesn't put, all your effort where it should be, it's going to show. And
for sure.
The last couple of years, like bringing Sainz in there, like Alonso was his idol growing up, and him being at Ferrari for as many years as he did, struck like a chord with Carlos Sainz. So like his end goal always wanted to be Ferrari.
Yeah.
He might have got the job a little bit sooner than I think he deserved. He's a great driver.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean,
I don't know if he's going to be the guy.
The Ferrari guy.
I don't know if I don't know if at the time he was the right one to pair with Leclerc because they are such a young team.
Yeah.
Leclerc obviously had Vettel for the 1 year, for a couple of years, sorry. And that kind of groomed him a little bit to be like the Ferrari guy, and he slid right into position.
And it's unlike Ferrari to have 2 like young drivers.
Yeah, it's always like one or the
they'll
other.
Have one veteran,
you had
and then they'll have you had Kimi,
you had Vettel, you had What Schumacher for as long as he was there, he always had different drivers coming in. Felipe Massa, and
for sure.
What was the other one? Rubens Barrichello was also with Ferrari and Schumacher. So. Yeah, it's a new wave for Ferrari. I mean, just from preseason testing, people are saying that Ferrari won the testing.
I guess they were.
I mean, there's not a champion crown, but they're saying
like 4 laps put in and performance
and what they did and what they showed.
Yeah,
huge improvement from last year.
Oh, massive.
The livery from this year, I think, is one of the better ones.
I do,
released. It's just
they got those on the side pods too. They have those gills,
and that's the thing I was going to talk about with like rules and regulations this year, of just being completely up in the air for whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
because for years and years and previously, the FIA stepped in and said, okay, you can't have this now. You can't do this. This has to be regulation. This has to be a certain dimension. This, that, this. This year with the new car and like the way it's shaped and designed, it kind of gave each team like their own.
Blank canvas.
Blank check.
Work with this is whatever. What you have here.
Do what you want.
Do what you can with this. Sculpture this and
exactly
turn it into something of your own.
And I don't know if the Ferraris were trying to, emulate some Michelangelo shit with like they did sculpt the vehicle, but
it looks great.
Like I said, the side pods, the vents in the back, like dipping down. They said you can fill pools of water in there if you wanted to. It's like they're so low sitting.
They're so low. Yeah, the side pods they do accent the cars though. They make them look pretty sweet.
They do. And just we're taking a look at the.
I like too how the floor.
The picture now,
like in the last year's cars, the floors were super wide. If you actually look at a top view of the car, the floors stick out
they're
so
massive,
far.
yeah.
Here, they got rid of that, obviously, because of the ground effects and everything. But teams are, like you said, they're making their own adjustments to the body and what they need to do.
And that being said, like with them doing that, we don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going to work and not going to work.
No.
What we're seeing now in testing over these last 3 days are not going to be the final product that we see come Australia.
No.
Is it Australia the first? Oh, Bahrain, sorry.
Bahrain's the first one, yeah.
Australia, I think they're putting to the end of the season
they
now.
still, like, there's so many teams that they're going to rely still on the Bahrain testing.
Right.
And it's what has hit the
Barcelona. Barcelona testing.
No, they're going to rely on this next previous testing because it's not like every team had all their shit figured out now.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think the only one that said they were running almost at 100% was Mercedes, obviously, but
that could just be all talk.
That could be all talk. They could be like, "Oh, we're done with our development. Like we're good where we're at right now." But I don't know. This year, I Aston Martin. I really hope Vettel puts in a good year.
Yep.
Like I like Stroll. Stroll's great and everything, but if I had to pick my number one driver at Aston Martin, which I don't think we know who it is. I don't know. Was a lot of media on Stroll just at the beginning, especially when their car got released. And then oh, that's funny.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, so we don't know who the number one driver is at Aston Martin. You okay there?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, you all right?
Technical difficulties. Sorry.
But yeah, we don't know the number one driver at Aston Martin. I hope it's I hope Seb by the end of the year. He had two races last year where he was top 2 in his first year at Aston Martin, and one of them he got taken away, which for the fuel, he was over in fuel limit by the end of the race or something like that. So
I think part of the requirement is that you have to complete the race and then finish like the post-race lap to get back into the paddock.
Oh, he didn't do that?
He couldn't finish it because he ran out of fuel.
It's so
he made it like halfway down the track or whatever it was. It didn't have enough fuel.
Well, I guess it technically makes your car lighter.
It does, but at that point, it's like the race is done at that point.
Yeah, I know.
Which I don't understand. I don't agree with.
No, I don't agree with it either.
I mean,
took away a podium for him.
Like the number crunching that goes on during the race is so finite as it is. It's like, okay, we have
0.01 liters.
We have enough fuel to finish the race, but
it's
you
like
have to have enough fuel to get past a checkered flag back into Parc Ferme, which is going to be like I think it's a stupid ruling. Obviously, with the Lance Stroll and the Lawrence Stroll effect at Aston Martin is huge. Yeah, clearly, he's not going to go anywhere. He's got that job locked up for as long as he wants, basically. As long as Lawrence Stroll,
he's the owner, man.
As long as
who's going to buy
out
Lawrence Stroll?
Yeah, nobody. And no one's probably going to approach him either. He's a scary looking fellow.
He is.
An intimidating guy. Yeah. So Lance will be locked up in that spot. Does his performance earn him the spot? I don't know. It's tough to say.
Coming off of last year, no.
Tough to say. I mean, then last year they were breaking back into the scene, like being a new team. Obviously being Racing Point before, and then being Force India before that. Yeah. Tons of changes went on in the those 3 or 4 years in the transition period between 3 separate teams and ownerships. Yeah.
When they basically took the Mercedes car.
Yeah, they were the Mercedes 2.0.
Yeah.
But that being said, it still relies on the driver to take what you have and make the best of it. Like going back to George Russell again with Williams, he took the car that on any given day is easily like one of the worst cars out there.
Yeah, you're bottom of the pack, for sure.
Having Latifi finish in the bottom 5 every single race isn't a slight on him. It's the car.
Oh, for sure.
And the fact that George was able to not only be in the top 12 sometimes, but even the top 10 to retain points, shows how good of a driver he is. For Stroll to be in this Aston Martin vehicle, and even Vettel sometimes last year, like not even qualifying Q3. No. That kind of plays a more role, I think, on the driver.
You think so?
I do, because I think...
But, I mean...
I think that Stroll has had a long leash in the sport so far.
It's just like
he's still young, but he's...
I mean, but how young really is he?
Well, I think he's 22, 23, but he's only had 5 years in the sport.
But he's been in there longer than Russell.
Leclerc, longer than Russell, yeah.
Right.
And he came in with the Williams that were still competitive a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it was his rookie season. In
that's when they had the Martini logo.
Yeah.
That was like their sponsor, Martini.
Yes.
That's right.
When they were in Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, he finished third on the podium in his in his rookie season with the Williams.
Oh, okay. I didn't actually know that.
This is about 5 years ago. I think maybe 6 years ago, something like that.
2016, 2017.
I don't know. I can't do the math, but so I'm just saying that showed that he can drive.
Okay.
And then the fact that he's in a better vehicle now with a better team.
Yeah.
I still think it's maybe showing maybe he isn't as polished as a driver.
Yes.
As he could be, and I don't want to say he's only there because his dad is like the boss.
But I mean, I'm sure there's a heavy influence.
He's getting a little boost from him saying, okay, like if I was Lawrence, I'd be like, you got to pick up the pace a little bit.
But going back to you saying that if you're not qualifying top 10 in that car, and it's based that's on the driver, I disagree. I think that's based on performance of the vehicle, especially with last year, because a lot of the teams, including Haas put no money into that car last year. They saved everything, and they focused on development for 2022. And I feel like Aston Martin did the same thing. Williams did the same thing. Alpine even, they kind of, I don't know, they were bouncy back and forth. I mean, they had really good runs in Hungary when Ocon won. And even Alonso being able to fight off Hamilton during that race for I know the Hungaroring's really, really hard to overtake, but still, that was a battle. And the Alpine was putting up with the Mercedes. So going back to it, though, I feel like a lot of the teams focus more on, there's no point in trying to throw money into this year's car because we know we're not going to be winning top of the constructors. We're still going to be, based on our budget, we're going to be lower pack. We're not going to be up there even competing with McLaren or Ferrari. They're like, what's the point of putting anything and focusing on development here when we can just put everything, focus on development, get ahead of the curve on 2022 season.
That's a good point. Cars. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So at the same time, you're kind of working with what you get. If Vettel's racing or Stroll's racing and they're like, boys, we can't keep up with this car with Mercedes or with McLaren or Ferrari. I mean, I think you could probably say they're competing mainly with those teams. And I thought they were going to be more competitive last year even. Or Renault or Alpine. But at that point, I think it comes down to the performance and the money that the team is spending on the vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. I think it's because we're so used to seeing Stroll, not used to seeing him perform very well.
Or even Vettel.
We're just used to seeing him.
4-time world champion.
Yeah. So I think we just expect a little bit more out of them than what they were showing last year.
Yeah.
You're right. It might have been the vehicle in last year in particular.
Yeah. I'm sure they it wouldn't make sense for them to be spending the money on it if they know that they're not going to be who really cares to qualify 7th or 8th?
Yeah.
Do you think that they're like, oh, we got to get 7th place this year?
This season will be the breaking point for Aston Martin. And good point with, halting on the spending until this season because
which I mean, smart, but plus they're working with a lower budget this year too.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they got all their spending out of the way in the 2021 season, then once that budget kicks in, they're like, okay, we've already spent this much money up to this point. This is what our budget is, which is kind of makes it more affordable.
Yeah.
But yeah. Even the Aston Martin car too. It's beautiful.
Beautiful car.
I love the yellow accent. Oh.
Yeah,
I think it's that one and the McLaren is my favorite one for sure.
It's a very similar
model from last year.
But the color changed a little bit different.
Yeah,
more of a sleek green.
Yeah,
I was afraid they might go like an olive green way, but no.
I'm happy they went with this one.
Almost like a turquoisey, greeny blue.
Yeah. Last year, it looked way too close to a Mercedes.
Yes,
it was really hard to distinguish them on the track. The only way you could do it is off the logos, the Cognizant.
Yeah. I think it's an analytics company.
What about the Alpine? The Alpine, I think that is the ugliest car I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
We'll get to Alpine.
I was talking to
not the biggest fan.
I was talking to my buddy's brother, Andrea Colavino. Shout out Dre. And I sent him the new one, the 2022, and I'm like, this thing looks like I'd throw it in my mouth and chew on it for 30 minutes and spit it out. And then he sent me a picture of last year's. And he goes, at least it doesn't look like a tube of toothpaste. So he sends me the picture of last year's car, 2021. Right next to it's Crest 3D scope fucking toothpaste. I was laughing my ass off. It's so funny. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing with this, man. I think it's just ugly. Maybe this is a part of Alpine.
Alpine, yeah.
Alpine, I don't know.
I mean,
but based on their performance, even preseason testing,
a little shaky.
Shaky for sure.
I think like the new sponsor BWT coming to Alpine was like obviously huge.
Yeah.
They were a big Racing Point sponsor a couple years ago.
It looks just like the Racing Point car.
So BWT is it's a water company or water.
It's actually pink water.
Is that what it is?
No, it's not pink.
Well, I don't know. Like a Pepto-Bismol?
It'd be like Gatorade.
Pepto. Well, obviously, like, but their influence or their branding is pink.
Yeah.
So you had the Racing Point car a couple years ago.
Yeah.
All decked out in that light.
They're
pink.
gonna have a couple races. I think Bahrain and Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi.
3. I think there's 3. Oh no, the first
where they're gonna
2,
be the all pink car,
which I like better though.
You like the all pink one better? I guess
I
stands out more. It doesn't look like a Hubba Bubba package.
Yeah. Yeah, this one it's just the blue and the pink. They don't work for me. They don't work for me.
No. Yeah, but actually, even Haas taking off their Russian colors.
Yeah.
I mean, based off everything that's going on in the world, our thoughts and prayers go out to Ukraine.
Yeah, for sure.
All the people struggling. We're really lucky that we live in the country we do, and we don't have to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah, but for Haas,
I think it's good that they did that. Canceled the Russian Grand Prix.
Yeah, smart move.
No support. Actually, they're getting rid of all the Russian products at the LCBO. No alcohol, nothing. They're getting rid of all that stuff.
All the Stoli is gone.
Yeah,
all the Russian vodka is gone.
Not that it was good anyway.
No, I mean, good riddance. See you never.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to touch that shit anymore.
But yeah, no, the Haas car, I like it way better, just black and white with Haas on the side.
Obviously, like with Mazepin coming in and his dad having the pull that he has.
Yeah,
like the money talks when it comes to not only the driver in the seat, but obviously also like the branding and like how your car looks on the track.
Sure. If you're a number one investor, you need to be obviously saying, look, I'm going to get my share off of this car. You know what I mean? You're not just going to be giving these guys all this money in the world and be like, oh, just put a little sticker on the rear wing. You know what I mean?
I just find it to be interesting that, this is the only American owned team. Like Gene Haas is obviously the owner of the Haas racing brand, but for them to partner up with like a Russian,
kind of bizarre.
I don't know.
But they also went Gunther Steiner. I mean, he's German, so he's going back to Germany to get these sponsors, and then he had Schumacher race for him.
Yeah.
But then you also go to Russia.
I know
to get these sponsors.
They're bouncing all over the grid.
And then I was reading about like Mazepin's dad and stuff, and I guess he was like Dmitry Mazepin was like one of 37 businessmen that met with Putin on like February 24th or something like that.
Real recent.
Yeah, really recent. And then everything happened. Like, it's just kind of weird.
I think the same with Chelsea's manager, Roman Abramovich, or their owner.
Yeah.
He's owned the club for 20 plus years now. And now they're talking about Chelsea trying to like sell the team maybe.
Yeah.
To get him out of there.
Really?
It's like, yeah.
Oh my God. It's crazy how fast these things happen though. Like it's like one day you're rocking the red, white, and blue on your Haas car.
Not for America.
Not for America. Yeah, for Russia. And then you're just like, boom, done. Take it off. Like the sponsorship gets dropped that easy.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it's the PC culture because when it comes to something at this magnitude, you have to like look at it and say, what are we doing here?
For sure.
Like this is a little fishy.
Yeah,
we can't be promoting this. We can't be showing this. Even for Mazepin, when they have the driver standings, it says ROC next to his name.
Really?
Well, not. Yeah, it's not. It's like Russian. Not ROC. Is it ROC?
I think it's
like Russian Olympic Committee.
Yeah, Russian Olympic Committee. Yeah,
that's like his flag. Like, they don't display like the Russian flag when they have the driver. Like
no, they do ROC. They did the same thing in the Olympics.
Yeah,
so it's like when they had the little snippet on like the top left for like the score of the hockey games.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not and
that's the flag that Mazepin has too. That's the image that they use.
Yeah,
the graphic when they're posting like times and all that. They don't use the Russian flag for him.
Yeah.
So again, a lot of organizations, a lot of companies or leagues, whatever you want to say, are getting ahead of things and they're starting to like nip it in the butt before it escalates and like gets any worse.
For sure.
So yeah, by them backing out of the Russian Grand Prix, already making that official.
Even Seb too came out earlier and he's like, I don't care if they're gonna have the race or not. He's like, I'm boycotting it. He's like, what myself was telling me is I'm not gonna race there, which I fully support, 100%.
And Verstappen the same way too. He also said like, if there's a war going on, we shouldn't be there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The UEFA Champions League is supposed to be in St. Petersburg this year. That's already been rescheduled.
They rescheduled it?
Well, not rescheduled. Sorry, it's already been redirected to Paris now.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So the final will be in Paris. So it was supposed to be in St. Petersburg.
Yep.
Crazy times that we're living in.
Crazy.
But I think we're all lucky that we can turn to sport
Yeah,
you know, to get away from some things. Obviously, doesn't.
But I also think it's good that sport is taking that responsibility and saying that they don't condone it too, right?
It doesn't,
which is obviously playing a role, like plays a role to all of, like the young kids and stuff that are watching, right? They don't want to see like, oh, the Russia's starting World War III and all these teams are like they're advertising Russia pretty much. You know what I mean, or Russian brands and stuff like that.
Yeah, it doesn't,
just kind of goes to like tell them like war is not good. Obviously, it's not good, but it doesn't no good outcome.
It doesn't take away from like what's happening and going on in the world right now, but it's like a little break from like
COVID,
just whatever's happening and like
yeah, I know. But yeah, overall, a Haas. I hope that I want them to do good this year. It'd be cool to see them do good. You know what I mean? Like obviously in North America, Formula One has grown drastically since Drive to Survive. Obviously that played a huge role in it. But it would just be good to see a North American team like mid-pack even. I'm not saying like gonna win, but like I'd like to see them up there in like 7th, 6th would be good to see. But yeah, it's also kind of funny too, talking about the fan base now in North America, and we just started this podcast and we're not even close to like having British accents or anything. So it's I think we're the only Formula One podcast that doesn't have a British accent.
I mean, we could fake it till you make it, but
yeah, exactly. The Williams, AlphaTauri.
Let's do AlphaTauri first.
Yeah.
Before Williams.
I don't really have much to say about it. AlphaTauri looks pretty much identical. I know you said this is your favorite car this year, right?
It's up there. Not because it's like they changed their whole design and made it great and everything, but I just love the color scheme. Like the white and the nice. I love blue. Like I'm a big blue guy.
Navy's a good color, yeah.
Just the deep blue and the white coming together, I think just like looks really nice. Mm-hmm. It's clean. It's not too much, not too like flashy, too fancy. Mm-hmm. I just think it's a nice looking car. And this year with Tsunoda being, his second year now.
He came in 4th in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, he did well.
Isn't that crazy? That was his best race finish.
Yeah, and end of the season doesn't really matter too much in the grand scale. It helped them with the constructors.
For sure.
Having them finish in P5 or 6. I think
it was 6. P5 was Alpine.
Mostly with the doing of Gasly, though. Gasly had a great season last year.
He was like, I think he had the most consecutive P4s in qualifying.
Yeah, he did great. And it's good to see because obviously
he didn't get enough talk. I know what happened
with Red Bull and like his premature promotion to that team. I think they got like a little trigger happy with
mid-season
putting him in there.
Yeah, see you later, buddy.
But it ends up working out for him.
Yeah, it did. He's doing way better at AlphaTauri.
He goes back to Toro Rosso.
It's essentially the same car.
Yeah, it goes back to Toro Rosso, wins Monza for Toro Rosso.
Like it was almost right after.
Yeah, very soon after.
I think it was it the year after? No, it was within that year, I think.
That was a crazy year. That was 2020.
That was wild.
That
was the pandemic year.
Yeah, and there's a lot of moving and shaking going on in that season.
There was a lot of cancellation of races. Like there was only scheduled 17 races.
Yeah, I don't even know if they hit all 17.
I don't think they did. No,
doesn't take away from Hamilton winning.
No,
but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gasly's like demotion there was the best thing that could happen for him.
I think so too. Yeah, because now he's the number 1 at a different team, and it's also a competitive team. It's not like he's number 1 at Williams. You know what I mean?
Slash at Williams.
Yeah, it is a big slash. Sorry.
I like to see him do well.
If there's a team that I don't really give not the time of day to, but there's a team that I don't really focus on or follow, I don't follow Williams. And I should, because the history of Williams racing is huge. But getting into Formula One when I did, which was like 2 years ago, and fully like involved, especially last year. So like I'm still pretty fresh to this, but their history it's a great history. The Williams racing team. Yeah. Like you had some big names racing. You had Damon Hill, you had Ayrton Senna, you had all these huge teams, Nigel Mansell.
And that team was created with Frank Williams being like the driver owner back in the day, like when that could happen.
Now his daughter.
Yeah, his daughter's there, Claire. I think she's kind of taking like a back seat now. She's kind of like removed herself from the team a little bit. She's still involved, but she was team principal.
Yeah.
Just up until last season, I believe.
Yeah.
So they'll have a new team principal this year.
Yeah. It's nice that they kept the Williams name.
Yeah, of course.
Inside the whole thing, right?
Yeah, new ownership of the team. I'm not even sure actually who technically owns the team now, because I think it is a different ownership, but they are keeping the Williams name, like you said.
Yes.
But again,
the car looks sleek though. It does look pretty sweet.
Another team that's trying to look for money to kind of boost their reputation a little bit. Like with Latifi coming in there last couple seasons,
his family's put some money into the
big
team
money
too,
coming
right?
in. Yep.
They had
the Safina brand like labeled all over the car, and
you have your Alex Albon. He's in there too. Welcome back to Formula One.
Yep.
I'm happy that he's getting another chance because
he's class. Man.
I think there was a lot of things at Red Bull that happened to him. Like obviously, he got took out of 2 races when he was in the lead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. Christian Horner would say it's because he's not aggressive enough, and he's not like you can't compare people to Max Verstappen. You know what I mean? It's completely different driving styles. His driving style now is really unorthodox.
Yeah, they do say that being Verstappen's teammate is like one of the hardest jobs basically in all sports, because he's always going to get that little extra boost from management, that extra boost from the team to be the number one driver. And I mean, Sergio Perez coming off, just a crazy standout season with Racing Point and then going to Red Bull last year. He had a lot of momentum with him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we've seen it time and time again when someone comes into a new team and their first couple of races, they don't go as planned. Yeah. Like Ricciardo had a slow start in McLaren. Perez, obviously, Vettel even last year, and Stroll, granted that they're the whole new team completely, but it's just always hard to like break in and like make a team your own. And for Perez to come into Red Bull, especially, there's no way Max is going to like relinquish the number one job and the number one spot.
No.
So he kind of already had like a disadvantage going to Red Bull. I
agree, yeah. And it also helps in Checo's for his sake because he's a veteran of the sport.
Right.
He wasn't, and Red Bull doesn't necessarily always go after like a veteran guy. They're usually looking for the young gun guy that they can sign for years to come. And when they're looking for like a kind of a diamond in the rough, they found Max, but they can't just keep searching for like these young guys. They need something that they can rely on and know that they can have for the long haul with experience, someone that's going to be capable of driving that car.
And Perez is obviously like up there in age a little bit more. Like he's one of the actually senior drivers now in the field.
Yeah.
So he has that maturity though with him where he's not going to be like a little bitch about it and be like, if he's not getting, because he knows this is Max's team. Like he knew that coming in there last year.
For sure.
He was leaving Racing Point. We all knew that because they were transitioning to Aston Martin and Stroll was going to leave and Vettel was going to sign. We already knew that coming into last year. Yeah. So he was out of a job. Yeah. And for him to show up the way he did and put the performance in the last couple races that he did, I think kind of guaranteed his spot at Red Bull. And like I said, he knew going in there, he's not going to take over the reins of Verstappen.
No.
This isn't going to be his team, but he's still going to have the best car and the best capabilities he's ever given. And he's going to, I think Red Bull's eyes were like, this is what they're seeing as like a Constructors' Championship last year.
Yeah. And also when they signed him the year before, he came off a great season with Racing Point. And that was the whole thing. It's like, oh, where's Checo going to go? He doesn't have anyone sign him. And then Red Bull came in at the 19th hour.
Yeah, solidified that for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to have a lot more to talk about leading up to race 1 of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. See, like coming into the season, we're going to have more review style podcast.
Yes.
This was kind of just an intro. We'll talk about what we can right now in Formula One. But yeah, once we get going on some reviews, it'll be a little more fast paced, there'll be a lot more to talk about in a sense.
Yeah, we'll get cooking. We'll get a lot of good stuff coming out. So again, like you said, we'll probably release the episodes to YouTube either, Sunday night, Monday morning. Same thing with the podcast platform. It'll be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your streams from. Be under BRZN F1 or BRZN.F1. We haven't totally figured out like what we want to actually have. The .F1, the _F1, just
we're thinking
F1.
The .F1. I'm down for the dot.
I kind of like it. It gives like a little break. It keeps it clean too. Yeah. Because like BRZN F1 is like a lot.
Yeah.
BRZN.F1. Yeah.
There's too many letters that you're just like, what do these stand for?
Yeah. BRZN. But whatever you want to call it.
Well, it was a pleasure.
A pleasure, yeah. And we'll chat next time.
Yeah. Till then, cheers.